back, SciTech. In this video, I want to do some tinkering with this clothes iron. I want to see how it works, and I want to see if I can do some experiments with it. Let's get started. First, what I'm going to do is simply cut the cord and discard it because I don't need it. Do what I always do is see a screw, take a screw, see a screw, take a screw. Remove all of the screws that I can find. Pop off this panel, and there are 2 more screws. Remove this panel, and this one has a very unique screw, and it uses a U screw. And there, it is now removed. Next, remove this panel. And there, it reveals the circuit. This circuit right here is what's used to regulate the temperature of this iron. How very interesting. And I can see there are some useful components. And again, see a screw, take a screw, see a screw, take a screw. Open up the housing. And now remove the water reservoir. Next, remove the screws that's holding on this wire. And there, it is now removed. This part is not useful. This part's useless. This one's useless. Useless, useless, and useless. This part right here has an interesting circuit. Simply remove it. And as you can see, it has some push buttons and some surface mount LEDs. Could probably use that for a future project. And now go a little deeper. Next, remove the screws that is attached to the iron. And what I want to do is I want to see the condition of this iron. I want to see if it still works, and I want to see if it's still clean, because looking at the sides, it looks very dirty. Ooh, and as you can see, it's very dirty inside. All this white powder is calcium carbonate. Basically, whoever uses iron used hard water, which obviously left all this mineral deposits. Not really sure if I want to use this because the idea for this iron is I want to use it for surface mount components, soldering in surface mount components, and desoldering surface mount components. But looking at the condition, I'm not really sure if I want to do that. I may need to buy a new one. Most importantly, I wanted to see what the wattage of this iron, and as you can see, it's 1500 watts. Knowing this will allow me to test out this iron and see if it can get hot enough to melt solder, and if it does, then this means I will buy a new iron that is also 1500 watts and use it for the purpose of surface mount components. Next, I'm going to clean off the calcium carbonate that is on the surface of this iron. Clean it up to see if I can be able to use this. And as you can see, it's cleaned up to the best I can. And now I'm going to go ahead and put it back together. Okay, so now it's time to test it out. So what I'm going to do is plug it back in. And as you can see, I plugged it in rather unsafe, but this is just a temporary attachment. Okay, so I waited about 30 minutes and it did not get hot. I think it's because I accidentally removed this circuit that allows me to turn the iron on and regulate the temperature. Without this, the iron doesn't turn on. So what I need to do is bypass that by removing the circuit and connecting mains voltage directly to the iron. So remove all of what's not necessary. And as you can see, these are the 2 wires that connect directly to the iron. I'm going to connect this directly to mains voltage. Doing this will allow it to get hot, but there is no circuit to regulate the temperature. And what I'm going to do to be able to regulate the temperature is simply plug it in and unplug it, plug it in, and then unplug it. Doing this will manually regulate. And I'm going to pour some water to see if it's hot. And there is some steam. That means it's hot. I have right here some solder, and I want to see if it melts. As you can see, it's melting. That means this iron does get hot enough to melt solder. That's very good. A closer look. And there, it melts. Perfect. And as you can see, the iron is smoking. That's because it got too hot, and there's maybe some impurities that is inside this iron. So what I need to do is buy a brand new iron. And the type of iron that I need is a non-steam iron. And what I need to do is modify it so that way I can have temperature regulation or create a temperature regulation circuit. Otherwise, the alternative, simply plug it in and out, plug it in and out, which will then regulate the temperature manually. Don't really want to do that. I'd rather modify it in order to have the correct temperature. And there you have it. Now you know what's inside of a clothes iron, how it works, and what kind of parts that are worth salvaging, and an idea for me to use for a future project to create a surface mount circuit melting device. Thank you for watching SciTech Tech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified of future SciTech Tech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.